John McEnroe, born in 1959 and raised in Douglaston, Queens, is a tennis legend, boasting 77 singles and 78 doubles titles, including 4 U.S. Opens and 3 Wimbledon victories. His epic battles with Bjorn Borg are among the most thrilling in tennis history. McEnroe was known for his incredible skill on the court, famously turning a near impossible situation into a winning shot against Jimmy Connors with a last-second blind backhand. Beyond his individual success, McEnroe significantly contributed to the popularity of doubles and the Davis Cup, serving the team for 12 years. However, his career was also marked by notorious outbursts that sparked debate about his impact on the sport's image. In 1979, we observed a 20-year-old John McEnroe dominating not just his opponent, but also intimidating the referee and linespeople, creating an atmosphere of tension among everyone present, including the spectators. The silence during McEnroe's serves was more out of fear than respect, and any disturbance from the crowd could provoke his sharp rebuke. His reactions ranged from scolding a woman for moving too slowly to criticizing others for walking around, using flash photography, or mistimed applause. McEnroe believed he had the right to correct what he saw as rudeness from the audience. Yet he did not accept criticism for his own behavior. This led some fans, particularly the older generation, to argue that McEnroe lacked the decorum expected of top athletes in tennis. Some tennis pundits argued that John McEnroe's exceptional talent warranted overlooking his controversial behavior. During a 1981 Wimbledon match, known for its strict dress code and traditions, McEnroe famously challenged officials on many fronts and had a notorious yelling incident with an umpire when he believed his serve hit the line but was ruled out. McEnroe bellowed, "You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious. That ball was on the line. Chalk flew up." Although Johnny Mac was correct, the call still stood, and he made a spectacle of himself and was deemed by the British press as the Super Brat. Despite his average stature, McEnroe's extraordinary reflexes and strategic play distinguished him on the court. He appreciated the consistency of the game's rules and the uniqueness of each match. Off the court, the contrast was stark. Journalists often found him to be a less imposing figure, either avoiding eye contact or responding tersely to questions, a far cry from the confident player seen during matches. John McEnroe, a perfectionist like his father, excelled in soccer and basketball as a child, showing a preference for team sports. However, his undeniable talent for tennis became apparent, leading him to concentrate on the sport by age 12. While McEnroe's family and friends viewed his transition to tennis as a way to harness his intense competitiveness and high expectations, McEnroe felt pressured into the sport, believing his passion for team sports was healthier. Despite his reservations, his continuous victories in tennis made it difficult to consider leaving the sport. This pressure manifested in his behavior on the court, where his outbursts and tantrums underscored the immense pressure he placed on himself, often making him appear younger than his years. He went to college for a year at Stanford, won the 1978 NCAA singles title, then turned pro. McEnroe would not admit to having missed out on a college experience. He claimed to have learned more about life in 1 year of pro tennis than he would have learned in 4 years of college. Asked what he learned, McEnroe replied that he learned that many people are phony and what kind of deceptions that they try to practice. He seemed to assume that many successful people were hypocrites with secret agendas. Bjorn Borg of Sweden and John McEnroe presented a study in contrast whenever they faced off on the tennis court, with Borg's calm demeanor contrasting sharply with McEnroe's fiery temperament. Borg, known for his long blonde hair, good looks, and unruffled composure, played with a relentless energy and a powerful topspin that led Ilia Nastase, after losing to Borg, to remark, "We're playing tennis, he's playing something different." Despite Borg's external calm, he was intensely competitive, a trait highlighted by his ex-wife's observation that he would often retreat into silence for days following a defeat. The rivalry between McEnroe and Borg, dubbed Fire and Ice, was evenly matched, with each winning 7 out of their 14 encounters on the Pro Tour. Remarkably, McEnroe managed to keep his composure with no outbursts during their matches. Borg's dominance at Wimbledon was notable, with 5 consecutive titles from 1976 to 1980. Their 1980 Wimbledon final stands as one of the most memorable matches in tennis history, featuring a dramatic comeback from McEnroe and an epic 4th-set tiebreaker, before Borg ultimately clinched the 5th set for the win. John McEnroe also had notorious rivalries with Jimmy Connors and Yvonne Lendl, harboring a strong animosity towards both players. Even now, discussing the 1984 French Open, where Lendl came from behind to defeat McEnroe after losing the first 2 sets, still visibly unsettles McEnroe. However, McEnroe's challenge wasn't just against his opponents, but also against his expectations of perfection from everyone in tennis, contrasted by his own struggles with sportsmanship. The juxtaposition of his on-court brilliance against his off-court behavior captivated and sometimes shocked spectators, revealing the complex duel of McEnroe versus McEnroe. Nike's Phil Knight compensated John McEnroe generously for endorsing his brand, particularly valuing McEnroe's fiery on-court episodes, which Knight encouraged. Recognizing that tennis was often perceived as an elitist sport, Knight appreciated how McEnroe's outbursts made the game more relatable to a broader audience, bridging the gap between the sport's traditional image and the public's craving for authenticity and emotion. This approach not only enhanced the sport's appeal, but also boosted Nike's visibility and sales. Despite disagreements over Nike's "Just Do It" slogan, which McEnroe initially dismissed as simplistic, Knight's marketing instincts proved enormously successful, a point McEnroe acknowledged, contrasting their respective fortunes years later. Following Bjorn Borg's retirement, John McEnroe felt a noticeably emptiness in tennis, struggling against newer talents like Andre Agassi and Pete Sampras, whose skills on the court marked an advent of a new era. Despite attempts to regain his dominance through various means, McEnroe couldn't reclaim his top spot. His personal life saw changes too, with his marriage to Tatum O'Neal, the birth of their 3 children, and his known fondness for interacting with kids, expecting a future focused on family. However, his marriage came to an end in 1994, coinciding with the close of his tennis career, a time softened by the support from his brother Patrick, Agassi, and Sampras, with Sampras unexpectedly expressing love for him. Marrying musician Patty Smyth in 1997 and having 2 children with her, McEnroe found a surprising dynamic in their relationship, often contrary to public assumptions about their temperaments. Despite his considerable wealth, McEnroe doesn't enjoy revisiting past matches, recognizing the superior play of contemporary stars like Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal, and acknowledging the evolution of tennis. Reflecting on his career, he holds a special place for Bjorn Borg, and he wishes he had played more matches against him. Now McEnroe contributes to tennis through broadcasting and his academy, advising young players to balance their sports commitments to mitigate the pressures of competition.